Good evening. I'm J. Lenore Bressler, and welcome to Instant Insight for Leaders. This is the June 27, 2017 edition. You know, you can't talk about leadership for very long without a certain word coming up. It starts with an I. Do you need to buy another vowel? It is the word integrity. Now, integrity actually means that there's a consistency. It actually comes from a word in the Roman marketplace and was applied to jars and mugs and vases that were made, meaning that what you saw on the inside was what you could expect, or on the outside was what you could expect on the inside. There was a consistency. There would be no cracks on the inside if you saw no cracks on the outside. And my question to you is, as a leader, are you consistent in that way? Do people realize that what you say in public and private is the same? How you act and your philosophy in one situation is going to be explicable and basically applicable in another. People crave consistency so much in leaders that survey after survey says that people would actually prefer a leader who was 100% of the time bad, even downright evil, than someone who was a Jekyll and Hyde, someone you never knew for sure what you were getting. Now, let's talk about how could someone who really is a person of integrity get a reputation as someone who is not? In other words, could you ever be misperceived as not having integrity when you actually do? And the answer is yes. Let me give you an easy example. Let's say that you are a mid-level manager and you've been asked by the powers that be to be enthusiastic and advance a change. You do this, and your team follows you. They are gung-ho, they buy into the rationale, and they launch forward into a change initiative. But then the flavor of the month up top changes, and you are asked to abandon that initiative in lieu of something perhaps totally different. You could look to your team as if you were inconsistent, or actually a person of non-integrity, and you don't really deserve that. Or here's another thing. What about if there was a policy and you were trying to espouse it and enforce it kind of uniformly, but there were some extenuating circumstances and you made exceptions, but you were not transparent, maybe for reasons of confidentiality? You could, therefore, develop the perception in other people's minds that you were playing favorites and were therefore not a person of integrity. Or how about this? Maybe in private, you feel you can speak a little more freely and maybe sometimes too freely about how you feel about something. And then when you're a little more caution and show a little more discretion, or you're a little more diplomatic in other circles, those that heard you in private may say, not exactly the same response or the same statements we heard earlier. What does all this mean you should do? I advise leaders, as much as you can, still respecting true confidentiality, be as transparent as you can be. When you see that you have acted in a way that may be truly consistent, but may be perceived otherwise, I say tell people. Say, you may think that this is different, but let me explain to you why this is consistent with the way I've handled things in the past. If you find that you've actually made a mistake, that actually you have been inconsistent, come clean about it and say, I've realized that I have not been consistent in this or that, and explain why you fell prey perhaps to that temptation. And then ask that you be given a new shot at it. People appreciate that, and they appreciate the fact that you as a leader are confident enough to be truly self-assessing and then admit. Transparency, in my book, is a great, great leadership trait. And frankly, you have to be very confident and very strong to have it. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me again on the next edition of Instant Insight for Leaders. Have a great leadership day.